Have you ever felt that something extraordinary was revealed to your heart, only to see it unravel when you shared it with others? Perhaps you were excited to speak about it, imagining encouragement and support, but instead you were met with doubt, criticism, or silence. This can feel disheartening, even confusing. Why would something so divine falter when shared? The answer lies in this powerful truth. Not every dream or plan is meant to be shared. Dreams and plans given by God are often sacred, personal, and uniquely tailored for you. They are treasures meant to be nurtured, protected, and grown under His divine guidance. Yet in today's world, where sharing is second nature, whether on social media or in casual conversations, we risk exposing these sacred seeds before they've had the chance to take root. In this message, we'll explore why guarding your dreams and plans is not just an act of prudence, but an act of spiritual obedience. We'll discuss the wisdom of protecting what God has entrusted to you and how this mindset can profoundly transform your spiritual journey. So, as we dive deeper, let me leave you with this thought. What if the dreams and plans in your heart were entrusted to you by God for a divine purpose? A purpose that requires your patience, your faith, and your willingness to keep them safe until the right moment comes. We live in a time when sharing has become second nature. A few clicks on social media, a quick conversation with a colleague, or an excited remark to a friend, and suddenly, what was once private becomes public. While sharing can create connection, it can also expose us to risks, especially when it comes to the sacred dreams and plans God has placed in our hearts. There's a delicate balance between openness and discretion, but too often we overlook the importance of keeping certain things sacred. Perhaps you've experienced this. You share a deeply personal revelation, hoping for encouragement, but instead, you're met with skepticism, jealousy, or even opposition. Suddenly, what felt like a blessing starts to feel like a burden. This happens because not everyone is equipped to understand or support the unique calling God has placed on your life. Some may lack the spiritual maturity to see the divine hand at work. Others might unintentionally project their doubts, fears, or insecurities onto your vision. And sadly, there are those whose intentions may not align with your well-being at all. Think of it this way. Imagine planting a fragile seed in fertile soil. That seed needs time, care, and the right conditions to grow. If you prematurely expose it to harsh weather or trampling, it may never take root. Your dreams and plans are like that seed. They require protection and nurturing to grow into the fullness of God's purpose. By sharing too soon or with the wrong people, we risk subjecting our dreams to unnecessary challenges. Misunderstanding, criticism, and even spiritual opposition can stunt their growth. This isn't to suggest we should live in fear or isolation, but to remind ourselves of the importance of discernment. Knowing when to speak and to whom is a spiritual discipline that can safeguard not only our dreams, but also our faith in God's timing. As we continue, let's reflect. Are we giving our dreams the protection they need to thrive, or are we exposing them to environments where they cannot grow? Guarding your dreams and plans is more than an act of prudence. It is an act of obedience to God and a demonstration of spiritual wisdom. When God entrusts us with a vision or a purpose, He calls us to steward it with care, allowing it to grow and mature under His guidance before we share it with others. One of the most profound examples of this principle comes from the story of Joseph in the Bible. Joseph was a young man with a God-given dream, one that revealed his destiny to lead and inspire. In his excitement and perhaps a lack of discernment, he shared these dreams with his brothers. Instead of celebrating his vision, they became jealous, bitter, and ultimately plotted against him. Though God's plan for Joseph prevailed, his story teaches us a vital lesson. Not everyone is ready to understand or support the unique calling God places in our hearts. Sharing prematurely or with the wrong audience can invite envy, misunderstanding, and even opposition. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23 reminds us, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Our hearts are the soil where God plants his divine purpose. By protecting what resides there, our dreams, plans, and revelations, we allow God's work to flourish without interference. Imagine your dreams as a delicate flame. When carefully shielded, this flame can grow into a powerful fire, bringing light and warmth to many. But if exposed too soon to harsh winds, it risks being extinguished before fulfilling its purpose. Guarding our dreams doesn't mean hiding them out of fear or mistrust. It means honoring their sacredness and aligning our actions with God's timing. It means asking ourselves, is it the right time? Is this the right person? Does sharing this glorify God or satisfy my own desire for validation? How to discern God's timing. Discernment is key to protecting our dreams. Through prayer and reflection, we can align our hearts with God's wisdom. Just as a farmer waits for the right season to plant and harvest, we must seek the Holy Spirit's guidance to know when to nurture our dreams quietly and when to let them take root in the world. Jesus himself modeled this principle. Throughout his ministry, he often instructed his followers to keep certain miracles and revelations private until the appointed time. He knew the power of timing and the importance of allowing God's plan to unfold without interference. The risks of sharing prematurely. When we share our sacred dreams too early, or with those unprepared to receive them, we open ourselves to unnecessary challenges. Words of doubt can plant seeds of discouragement. Misinterpretation can distort our vision, and criticism, whether intentional or not, can cause us to question the very calling God has placed on our lives. The enemy often seeks to attack what is sacred before it has the chance to grow. By exposing our dreams prematurely, we make them vulnerable to spiritual opposition. But when we choose to guard them, we create space for God to strengthen and prepare us for the journey ahead. Your role as a steward of God's vision. To guard your dreams is to trust in God's timing and provision. It is to recognize that your calling is unique, sacred, and part of a divine plan. This trust requires patience and faith, but it also brings peace. When we release the need for immediate validation, we allow God's glory to shine through in his perfect time. As you reflect on this, consider, what dreams has God placed in your heart? Have you been faithful in protecting them, or have you allowed external voices to influence or diminish them? Remember, God has entrusted you with these dreams for a reason. Protect them with wisdom, nurture them with faith, and watch as he fulfills his promises in ways beyond your imagination. Protecting the dreams and plans God entrusts to you requires intentionality and spiritual discipline. Here are 3 faith-based strategies to help you nurture and guard what he has placed in your heart. 1. Discernment through prayer. Before sharing any dream or plan, take it to God in prayer. Ask him for wisdom to discern whether it is the right time to speak and whether the person you are considering sharing it with has the spiritual maturity to support you. Consider this question. Does sharing this glorify God or fulfill a personal need for recognition? When we allow our hearts to be guided by the Holy Spirit, we gain clarity and confidence in our actions. God's timing is always perfect, and by seeking his guidance first, we align ourselves with his divine plan. 2. Embrace the power of silence. Silence is a profound tool for spiritual growth. Not everything revealed to you is meant to be spoken aloud. Sometimes the greatest act of faith is to trust that God is working behind the scenes even when we cannot see the full picture. Think of Jesus' mother, Mary. When the angel Gabriel revealed her extraordinary calling to bear the Messiah, she treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. Luke chapter 2, verse 19. Like Mary, we can choose to treasure God's revelations, keeping them safe in our hearts until he reveals the right time to act or speak. 3. Build a circle of spiritual confidence. Surround yourself with a small, trusted group of people who share your faith and respect the sacredness of God's plans. These individuals, whether a mentor, a pastor, or friends of prayer, can provide guidance, encouragement, and accountability. Be mindful, however, of whom you invite into this circle. Not everyone who seems supportive will understand or appreciate the divine nature of your calling. Choose wisely and prayerfully. By practicing discernment, embracing silence, and seeking wise counsel, you create a spiritual foundation that allows your dreams to grow strong and withstand opposition. Remember, God has given you these dreams for a purpose. Protect them faithfully and trust Him to lead you to the right time and people to share them. Stories have a way of touching our hearts, illuminating truths that words alone cannot. Let me share one that captures the power of guarding dreams and trusting God's timing. There was once a woman named Claire, a devoted believer who felt God speak to her heart about starting a ministry to help single mothers in her community. The vision was vivid, a resource center filled with hope, prayer, and practical support. Overwhelmed with excitement, Claire began sharing her dream with everyone she knew. At first, the responses were kind but cautious. However, as word spread, she started encountering doubt and discouragement. Some questioned her qualifications. Others pointed out the challenges, citing finances, time, and resources as insurmountable barriers. The weight of their skepticism began to dim the light of her vision. Claire found herself doubting whether she had heard God correctly. She felt stuck, questioning why the dream felt so distant and unattainable. One evening, in the stillness of prayer, she felt a gentle whisper in her spirit, "Be still and know that I am God." She realized that while she had sought the approval and advice of others, she had not truly trusted the one who gave her the vision. From that day forward, Claire stopped sharing her dreams so openly. Instead, she began treasuring it in her heart, bringing it before God daily in prayer. She also sought the counsel of a trusted spiritual mentor who encouraged her and helped her break the vision into small, faith-filled steps. Years later, that vision became a reality. The ministry she founded now serves hundreds of women, providing not just resources but also a place of healing and hope. Claire often reflects on that journey and recognizes a simple truth. Guarding her dream and trusting God's timing were essential to its fulfillment. Now, I want you to reflect on your own journey. Has God placed a dream or plan in your heart that feels sacred and deeply personal? Have you nurtured it in prayer, or have you exposed it to doubts and distractions too soon? Consider this: every great work begins with a season of preparation. God is not only shaping the dream, but also shaping you to fulfill it. Like Claire, your role is to treasure the vision, protect it with wisdom, and trust that God's timing is perfect. Imagine holding a priceless jewel in your hands. Would you leave it unguarded, allowing anyone to handle it, or would you place it in a safe, cherishing its value? Your dreams are no different. They are priceless treasures given by God, deserving of care and protection. Take a moment now to think about a specific dream or plan that God has revealed to you. How can you begin guarding it more intentionally? Perhaps it's choosing silence over sharing, spending more time in prayer, or seeking guidance from someone you trust spiritually. When we protect our dreams and plans, we position ourselves to witness the fullness of God's promises. His plans are always greater than our expectations, but they require our faith, patience, and willingness to trust Him completely. You may feel tempted to seek validation or rush the process, but remember, the most beautiful dreams take time to unfold. Like a seed planted in fertile soil, your dreams need nurturing and protection to grow into the abundant purpose God has prepared for them. Let this story and reflection remind you that God's timing is never late, His provision is never lacking, and His plans for you are always good. Guard your dreams with faith and courage, and watch as He works in ways you never imagined. Dreams and plans are among the most sacred gifts God entrusts to us. They are not merely aspirations, but divine seeds planted in our hearts for a greater purpose. And like any precious gift, they require care, protection, and faith to grow into their fullness. We've explored the importance of guarding these dreams, recognizing their value, and trusting God's timing. The story of Claire reminds us that when we protect what God places in our hearts, we allow His work to unfold without interference. The lessons from Joseph's journey show us the risks of sharing too soon, but also the incredible ways God's purpose can prevail when we remain faithful. Perhaps today you're realizing that God has given you a dream, a vision so profound it feels overwhelming. You may also see how doubts, distractions, or external opinions have challenged that dream. If so, let this message be your encouragement. It is not too late to refocus, to guard what He has planted, and to entrust your plans back into His hands. Remember, God doesn't give dreams randomly. He chooses you because He knows you are capable of carrying them. He equips you with the tools, the strength, and the faith to see them through. But He also calls you to steward them wisely, to wait patiently, and to trust Him completely. What God has placed in your heart is uniquely yours to nurture. Protect it with prayer, seek His guidance, and surround yourself with those who uplift your faith. God is faithful. When you guard your dreams with wisdom and patience, He will bring them to life in ways beyond what you could ask or imagine. If this message has touched your heart today, take a moment to reflect on the dreams and plans God has placed in your life. How are you protecting them? What steps can you take to ensure they remain aligned with His purpose? I want to encourage you to take action. Start by seeking God in prayer and asking Him for the wisdom to discern the right time and people to share your vision with. Write down the dreams He has placed in your heart and keep them close as a reminder of His calling on your life. If this video resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who might need to hear this message. Whether it's a friend, a family member, or someone in your community, you never know how God might use your act of sharing to bless their journey. I also invite you to join this growing community by subscribing to this channel. Here you'll find more content that uplifts, strengthens faith, and helps you walk confidently in the purpose God has for you. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos that can guide you in your spiritual journey. Hat dream has God entrusted to you. How are you working to protect and nurture it? Your testimony can inspire others and create a space of encouragement for everyone here. Remember, God has a unique purpose for your life. Protect the dreams He has given you. Trust His timing and watch as He brings them to fulfillment in ways you never imagined.